If you're a freelancer or creative running your own business, but you're still tracking leads in your inbox, your WhatsApp DMs, or some half-broken Notion doc, this is for you. Because when the people who already know you stop calling, it's already too late. And that's the danger of running your business on luck and memory. A simple CRM can help you to stay consistent, follow up with intent, and stop riding that feast or famine roller coaster. And that's why I started using one. And after testing a dozen, this is the only one that actually made sense. Hi, I'm Philip. I run btng.studio and made the shift because I wanted more freedom, more consistency, and fewer late night client emergencies. And now I help other creatives do the same. On this channel, I share the tools, systems, and lessons I've learned along the way so you can build a business that actually works for you. If that sounds like your thing, hit subscribe. And once a month, I host a free live support session for creatives who are building their own business. We tackle real questions, reviews, tools, and get honest about what's working and what's not. It's one of the best places online to get clarity for free. And you'll find a link in the description. I'd love to see you there. This is Attio. First, I want to take a look at the beautiful clean interface. Then we'll talk about flexibility. We'll talk about smart views, integrations, and last but not least, I'll tell you what I think is a little bit of a catch, but I do think it's something you should be aware of. So stick around for that. As you can see here on the left side, there are a few things. So we have tasks, notes, emails, calls, reports, and automations. We have our favorites. We have the different object types, which are called records, and we can create lists. So Etio has been kind enough to help me set up this demo account so that I can actually share this without spilling the tea on all my actual clients and stick to the GDPR loyalty program. So I will go through it, create some data wherever I would need to create something. But the cool thing is, everything starts with people. So you can link Attio to your Google Workspace account. It's not your free Gmail, so you do need a proper business Google Workspace. There are, of course, other tools you can link it to as well. And what it actually does, it pulls every person from your mailbox. So anyone who you've ever sent an email or you've received an email from will end up in here. And it will also automatically include all your email history. It does the same for your calendar. So whenever somebody has a meeting with you, they can also be gathered in here. So we have a list of people, 1400 random generated people, and you can see the connection strength, which is normally based on the amount of emails and conversations you had with them. You can see when the last email interaction was, the last calendar interaction, and if you want, you can add any information that you would like. So if it's relevant to see how many followers someone has on Twitter, that's definitely possible. And you can add one of the other information as well. So if you want to see the phone numbers in the overview, you can easily add a column like this. And normally the phone number, if you have that filled in, will appear here. So one of the things that I also like is that you can create attributes. So I will have to zoom out a little bit. So you can actually add any text, number, checkbox, some star rating, select or multi-select currencies. You can even create relationships between other people and or products, for example. And you can basically filter on anything. So if you are like me, I'm very active on LinkedIn. I always try to find everyone on LinkedIn, and I do a lot of communication for myself here. Now I can see their LinkedIn, and this would actually be the URL and link directly to their LinkedIn. That's a lot of linking. So I will hide a few fields, and then it actually goes into, let's say, for example, I want to see when the last interaction is. So I can say calendar. With this person. So since it's a demo account, this is actually empty, but I want to jump with this view into the flexibility of Attio. So what if I now want to create a filter that shows me the people I had a last interaction, a calendar event with after, let's say, a month ago. So once again, this is demo data, but of course that means it's empty. But you can imagine the power of this, right? What if I would ask you at this moment, can you give me a list of the people you met with the last 2 or 3 months? Maybe you can, maybe you can't, but with Attio you can. And why is this so important? Because you want to keep track of the people you had a call with, to follow them up, to see, hey, how's life? How are things? How's everything going? And I think this is a very easy way to do that. And I actually created this filter now, so I could also save it. And this then becomes the default filter. So if I remove this filter, I see everything again, but I can also create a separate view saying people I've met with the last 30 days. And here I can once again save that filter, and then I've created a custom view that I can easily switch between without having to recreate that filter. There we go. So those are people. And of course, people work at companies. So when I would go into a company, this is actually also created based on all the domains from the people that emailed me. So if I would have, let's see, I'll just pick the first one. This is a company called Scales. I see the highlights. There's no email or calendar event. I can see the activity. So normally within the activity, you would see like the email conversations, the notes, the whatever. There are no emails, but I can also see the team. So I can see which people actually have the domain of this company. So that would be the email domain as well. And I can add all sorts of data, whatever I think is interesting. I can say, well, what is the estimated ARR for this company, which is to select. I can say how much they've raised, when they were founded, how many employees they have. And I can create a custom note here. There we go. And now I have a note, and normally in the activity, I would also see that I've created a note here, and my colleagues can see that as well. I can add files here, and as you can also see, there's tasks, which is a very simple task management system. Follow up, and it's assigned to me. It's for not today, but for tomorrow. And now I've created a task that I can also find here on the task page. Now there's something really cool, which is actually the calls section. And I will have to switch to my own account to give you an example of this. So bear with me 1 second. So here we are in my calls overview, and this is something that I actually use quite often. So I have a mentorship call, for example, with Laura. And here you can actually see the recording that I had with Laura. There's the summary in here, and I can choose any type of template for which I want to get a summary of this meeting. Now, why is this so awesome? Because it's actually linked to everything. When I would visit Laura's people profile, I can see that, oh, I had a call with her maybe a year ago, and I can actually go back into that call or read the summary, the notes, and have everything organized in one place. So it's not your mailbox, because if somebody mails you, sure, it keeps track of that. But since you already do your meetings, your meeting notes, and your recordings, everything is intertwined with each other here in place. I think it's absolutely wonderful to get that in a consistent place. So let me switch back to the demo account, because there's a few more things that I need to show. So now you understand the tasks, the notes, the emails, the calls. I think the reports is actually very exciting. So in here, you can create your own sales report, and this is highly based on your lists. So before we can dive into the report sections, let's talk about lists. So I can create a new list, and I can decide whatever type of list I want. To be honest, I think these list templates might be a little bit of an overkill. I think, to be honest, it's not that difficult to create them yourself, but it does show like all the different ways that you can, keep track of things. So if you want to use it for your VC venture capital deals, make sure you get that money, some content creation pipeline, some HR, but 9 out of 10, I think people will just create some sort of a sales funnel. So within this template, you can see that you get certain attributes, stages, you can see the contact, and that it gets different views out of the box. So it's perfectly fine to start with this list, and I'm applying the template right now. And here is actually my list. So this is new. I just created this, but I had one set up that actually has some data in it. So this is the sales list I just created. As you can see, there are different stages, which you can of course name, you can change. You can even say, you know what, when I add something here, I want to see some confetti whenever we win a deal. I have an example called recruiting, where it's actually already filled in. And what's good to know with your list that you can say is, what do you actually want to see inside a list? Is it a company or is it a person? So here we have a list with people. This is the recruiting list. So you can see there are new people, there's some screening. If somebody is screened, maybe you can book an interview. Are you going to make an offer? Or are you going to reject them? Did they drop out? And did you hire them? So I think that's a pretty simple but very fair and realistic recruiting process. And I can actually add a person here to this list. So let's add David Campos. We'll add him to screening. He might be applying for some role, a senior, and is there senior engineer, so he should be part of the engineering team. And we now have David in our list. Do we have a source? Maybe he just applied. So this is my candidate pipeline overview. And once again, you can change the view. So these are all the applications in a table format, or maybe I just want to see the people who are applying for a design role. So imagine that this would be a sales list. I can add values. How much revenue do I think this deal will generate? Maybe I want to see more or less information. So here on these cards, I actually see that this is Kirsten. She's applying for the role. I think this is who the manager should be. But what if I don't need to see that? I don't want to see the manager. I can just remove card row and thereby simplifying the overview, or I can do the exact opposite. Maybe I want to see their whatever email address, bow, and I immediately have access to their email. So you can very much customize these types of views. So they're super flexible. You can integrate this, of course, with all types of data enrichment tools. You can use Zapier, you can use Make, N8N, whatever you want to use. Whenever somebody fills in a form or a contact form on your website, you can immediately add them to this list. So with these lists, you can also perhaps imagine that you can create very exciting reports. Maybe you want to see how well people are applying to your business, like how many people get offered a job, how many accept a job offer, how many fall out of the process. When you start measuring these things, you can actually start working on improving them, or even figuring out if it's worth improving them. Maybe it's already up to a certain level and you can say, well, this is working well. We're just going to keep track of things. If they worsen, then we'll make it a higher priority. For now, it's good enough. And that type of information you can easily set up and track with Attio. So here there's a sales report. Once again, this is just dummy data. My map box currently isn't working, but you can also see on the map where your customers are located. I can see what the average annual recurring revenue is by country. So there's only a couple of companies in here. So it's the United States, the UK, France, Germany, Netherlands. And I can actually see that within the UK and the US, I'm making a specific ARR with my business. So that would help me to decide, well, is that, do we want to focus more on one of these markets or less? I can see the numbers of deals within the sales funnel. So right now I can see that I've lost one, I've won 4. There are currently 3 in negotiation. And we have, 6 meetings scheduled and 5 are still qualified. So this can give me a bit of an oversight of how my business is doing. So imagine that you're a freelancer, you might be considering leaving your job at some point. You could say to yourself, well, if I win maybe 50% of the proposals that I sent out on average, I would feel comfortable leaving my job when I have 20 proposals sent out. That could be one of your ways of thinking. And with this tool, you would be able to figure out if you're actually on the right track, and if you even have a closing rate of 50%. Then we can see here the employee range of the companies in the pipeline. So I can see the companies in my pipeline on average have 51 to 250 people. I can see how many sales or deals I've won every month. So in February, we can see that we closed a little bit under 4 million and it's going up in April till 24. In June, we dropped down to 13 and in July, we're back to 25. And here you can also see, once again, the rates that are within the funnel. So you can see your win rates, things like that. So you can really create these reports on your own. You can change the information if you'd like. You can do everything that you would like. So as promised, I think that's a quick overview from Attio. There's one more thing that I would like to share, because if you are working as an independent contractor, a freelancer, or a solo business entrepreneur, is Attio good for you? And I just want to pull up one quick thing. So, is Attio the CRM tool for you? For me personally, it is. I especially love how well it's integrated with Google Workspace, that it keeps track of everything from my emails and my calendar. I can record the meetings, get notes there. I have everything in one place. And it also functions as my sales funnel, where I can keep track of my sales within lists. I absolutely love it, and I would highly recommend it to every freelancer. Now, as I said, there is one catch. And that's this, the pricing. So for 29 euros a month, you can easily get started by creating your list and sending emails. You can even get started with the free version today and start getting that system into your DNA. When you actually get even more serious about it and you want to use those call recordings, the price does go up to 69 euros a month. Now, if you're by yourself, I think, to be honest, it's perfectly well thought out business expense. It's a bit of money, but I think with the time that it sends you and that 1 or 2, 3 leads that you maybe otherwise would have forgotten, I think it's worth the money. But at the end of the day, it's up to you. It's your wallet. You have to decide, is this worth the money for you? Now, keep in mind, when your company grows, at least if you want to build a team with multiple people, get more serious about it, the price does go up, of course, because it's 69 euros per license. If you do get 10 people into your sales team, into your commercial team, however you want to call it, it does run up a bill. Just wanted to let you know, other than that, I'm a huge fan of Attio. Once again, I would highly recommend it. Quick question before you go. How are you currently keeping track of your leads and clients? Be honest, is it Notion? Is it your inbox? Or a post-it stuck to your monitor? Drop it in the comments and I'd love to hear what's working for you or what isn't. And if you want more stuff like this, tools that actually work, systems you can trust, I host a free monthly support call with a small group of creatives. It's chill, practical, and honestly, it's one of the best things I do. Come and hang out. You'll find a link in the comments.